everything changes.
Hey, what's up, Rockstars? Welcome into the RockstarFlipper YouTube channel. Today is June 14th, 2019. It is day 10, 10 days down, 10% of our 100 awesome items to buy and sell on eBay, Amazon, and Poshmark. Today is going to focus on eBay and Amazon. These are electronic items. You probably read the title, so you know what we're going to talk about today. It's tablets. Some of these are going to be eBay only, and some of them are going to be eBay and Amazon only. As always with Amazon items, make sure that you are checking whether you are gated or ungated in them before you purchase any item, tablets or otherwise, to sell on Amazon. Otherwise, make sure that you will sell them on eBay for the correct price. Make sure you're buying them at eBay prices rather than Amazon prices so you don't get in trouble. So we're going to talk about three main tablets, which are iPads, Apple iPads, everyone knows, Samsung Galaxy tablets, which I don't happen to own, but I'll show you, and also Microsoft Surface tablets, which I do happen to own an older model of those. So Apple has blocked all tablets, all Apple products from Amazon, iPods, tablets, Macs, otherwise. So all of your Apple products will have to go on eBay or flip them locally. I recommend eBay. All of your Surface tablets, which if you're not familiar with Surface tablets, they kind of look like this. This is kind of an older model. This is a Surface Pro 2, I believe. Probably from about 4 or 5 years ago. I've owned this for a while. It's Windows. I don't use Windows, but I had this for some reasons back in the day and I never sold it, so I do still own it. These can go on Amazon, also Samsung Galaxy tabs. Again, some of them will be gated, some of them will be not gated, and you will be able to list them. So this is our standard, and this is actually not standard. This is an iPad. Let me go ahead and unlock this one for you guys so you can see it. This is an iPad. I actually own an iPad Pro 12.9 inch, third generation. This is the brand new one. Big screen, you guys can see, compared to something like this Surface. You guys can see the difference in size here. So this is, you know, one of the newer versions, but you can sell everything from an iPad 1 or 2 on up to these iPad Pros, the new ones, along with the accessories or whatnot. But again, Apple has to be on eBay, and the rest can mostly be on Amazon. So what to look for, what to check, what are the tips and tricks of tablets, and then we'll go over to my screen, because I'm not going to show you every make and model, but I am just going to show you a couple examples. So when you're buying tablets, they're an electronic. They're a very sophisticated piece of electronic device, and so you got to check a lot of things. And let me give you a few examples on some of the things. Like if you were going to buy this iPad Pro off of me or off of somebody else, what would you want to look for? Well, obviously you want to power it on. Make sure that it powers on. Make sure that the touchscreen, if it's a touchscreen tablet, works with no problem. Make sure that all of the buttons work. This particular tablet has volume buttons, power button at the top, volume buttons on the side. Some of the older models have vibrate buttons. Some of them have home buttons and some of them don't. The new ones don't. Some of them have earphone jacks. Some of them don't. This one's Bluetooth only, but you're going to want to plug in a set of earphones. So you're going to need chargers. Whatever type of tablet you're buying, get one of each charger and keep it with you. And it's in the car or at home. Keep one of each set of headphones so you can check that the speakers work, the microphone works, the volume works. Play a YouTube video. Make sure that you have a way to connect it to Wi-Fi. If you're at a place with Wi-Fi testing it, which you should be, connect it to Wi-Fi and make sure the internet works. If you're not, make sure that you have a phone with a hotspot so that you can test the internet connecting to the hotspot. Make sure that you can hear everything. Make sure that you try to do like a FaceTime call so people can hear you, or a Wi-Fi Skype call. Something to test that. You really have to test everything. Make sure there's no teeny tiny little cracks in any of the corners. I see people all the time buy a tablet that they're going to make $100 on, and they find a tiny little crack right on the edge, and all of a sudden it goes from being worth $100 profit to a $100 loss. So you have to check everything. You also have to check that it's not lost or stolen, especially with Apple iPads. First, you're going to call in the serial number. You can, if it's on a carrier like T-Mobile or AT&T or something, you can call the carrier. Otherwise, you can check it through Apple. There's a phone number And on Apple's website, you can just Google it, check Apple serial number, lost stolen Apple serial number. There's tons of ways to find it. You guys can Google. You found me on YouTube. You can find it on Google because everyone's going to comment and ask for the link. I'll try to find the link. If I do, I'll put it for you down below. So the other thing you have to check on iPads is the iCloud. That's the Apple ID that's on the particular iPad. You're going to want to have that completely cleared out. If they can't clear that, or you can't get to this screen and clear it out of settings, then it might be lost or stolen. So once you check to see if it's lost or stolen, make sure you do a complete factory reset, clear it in the settings, that's underneath settings, and then make sure that once you do that, you log back into the iPad, come back to the settings, and make sure the iCloud line says nothing. Make sure it's blank. It has to be clear. There are people that say, oh, I'll clear your iCloud for you. They're full of it. iCloud cannot be removed. It's the entire point of iCloud lock, so that you cannot remove it unless you're the original owner or have proof of purchase or security or something like that. If somebody stole an iPad and says, oh, don't worry about it, you can just get it, you can pay a guy $30 to have it removed. No, you can't. They're lying. Trust me, they're lying, especially on newer devices. So tablets, always check everything physically for damage, LCDs, screens, charger ports, make sure it plugs in and it isn't, all bent. Make sure all the buttons work, the touchscreen, the settings, make sure it's clear. All things to look for on all tablets to make sure everything's working and make sure it's been completely reset back to fresh and normal. Now, there's not anything against buying broken tablets. If you're going to buy it broken, know what the damage is, make sure that that is the only damage, and then price it accordingly. For example, if somebody tells you, oh, I have the iPad, but it's cracked, go look at cracked ones and figure out what they're worth and price it accordingly. Lowball the heck out of them. Once it's broken, the competition goes down. There are a lot of people that buy broken tablets to fix them or resell them, but less people than will buy a fully working one because you're not competing with the general public now. So lowball them. If they tell you, oh, it just doesn't power on, I think it's just a battery, don't assume that it's just a battery. Assume that they dropped it in the pool and it's completely fried. Always price worst case scenario. Always, 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 because people are liars. This is the rule of thumb when you're buying items locally or off most people that want to sell you their items, especially on broken ones. Whatever they tell you about the item is a lie. Period. They are lying. If they tell you it's perfectly working, they're lying. If they tell you it's broken, they're lying. If they tell you it's a third gen, they're lying it's a second gen. Trust me. More times than not, you will catch somebody lying, exaggerating, or BSing. Always, always, always plan for the worst. That's my tip for tablets. That's my tip for any electronics, honestly. So with that said, let's jump over to my computer and let's check out a couple of sold pages. I'll show you how to look them up. And then you guys are off to do your thing with tablets. But please, please, please do your research. Do your due diligence. Assume everyone is lying and plan for the worst case. If you think it's worth $100 and you're going to offer 50, offer 20 just in case it's worth 50 at the end of the day. That's my biggest tip for you guys with electronics, especially Apple products and tablets. Okay, so here we are on eBay, and I want to show you just some iPad examples. So this is an iPad Pro 9.7 inch 32 gig, and if we scroll down, I did used. We can see they're anywhere from like the low 200s, 225, 274, 200 plus 15 is 215, so this one's actually almost like 240. 270. Here's one that's 351. It includes a pencil and a folio case, so that's why. Here's another one again in the 217 range, which is about right. 200. This one's just under 200, 208 plus 19, 220. So you can see most of this particular model are around 200 to 225 on average. Some of them a little less, some of them a little bit more, depending on what they include. Again, one for 300 with extras. Again, 267 plus 12, and this one came with a case. Look at the broken. This is for parts and not working. See the left side, I choose parts and not working. $58. 80 plus 14, 94, 137, 116. You can see the ones that power on are worth over $100. The ones that aren't powering on are worth under $100. So you would have to figure out what the damage is and then look at all of these ones. Look, this one says it's cracked, 114 plus 8. You have to figure out, if yours is cracked, does yours have a bad LCD? Does yours not power on? Is yours water damaged? What is the one that you're looking up that you want to buy, and what have the comparable solds gone for with that kind of damage? Now, if I was buying a broken 32 gig iPad Pro 9.7 inch and I didn't know what was wrong with it, or I had suspicions, or I'm going to go on my advice that everyone lies, it looks like at the low end, they're selling for about $60 or $70. Most of them going closer to $100. So I could reasonably offer 30 or 40 bucks and probably make the sale. I could go up to 50 or 60 if it's just cracked and I can test it and get 100, 120 out of it. So that's what you have to do. Remember, on Amazon, Apple products are blocked, but apparently they're allowing the renewed section. Now, I'm guessing this is only for approved people, so don't get your hopes up. But they're about the same price in the middle high 200s up to 300, so they are a lot higher on Amazon than they are on eBay, but unfortunately we can't do that. When we pull the Sellhound prices, we come up with exactly the price that we just saw on eBay. $237 to $282 is the averages, so right around $240, $250. That's on the right end because a lot of the expensive ones were up around $300 with extras, and a lot of the other ones were around $190, $180 with nothing but the iPad and not the greatest condition. So most of them are fetching $220 to $240 right on that average price. So pretty cool. We can't see the Amazon one. They probably took that away, but that's how you check it out. You could do the same for Samsung Galaxy tabs. Make sure you use the model number that's in the settings. Under the settings, about tablet is always the model number, or on the back. On most tablets, the back of them have a model number. Some of them don't. And if they don't, you'll have to go inside of the settings by powering it on, clicking settings, and then usually there's like an info tab or an about tablet or about iPad tab. So that's how you would look them up. That's how you'll price them. Tablets can be very, very expensive, very, very profitable, but also very, very risky from everything that you've heard from me, from the damage to the testing to the lies to the iCloud and password locks to the wrong model number. You think you're buying a 3rd gen and it's actually a 2nd and you didn't check it well enough. There's so much that can go wrong with tablets. Please be very experienced or know what you are doing before you jump into this market. But if this is something you want to do, you can make a lot of money. In addition to the cell phones I used to sell a ton of iPods, iPads, and other tablets, and we did very, very well on them. So that is number 10, 100 awesome items to sell on eBay, Amazon, and Poshmark. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We'll be back for number 11 tomorrow on Saturday, June 15th. If you want the entire bundle, it is 11 sourcing guides and bolo lists. It includes jeans. It includes video games, electronics, shoes, neckties, video game systems, home goods, clothing brands, boots. Everything you can think of is included in this 11 guide bolo list and bundle. It is $25. I'll link it down below. You will get all 700 items in addition to all the items that you hear right here on my 100 awesome days of bolos. Thank you guys so much. I will see you next time.